to Train Your Useless Dragon by Mika Crispy on AO3. Chapter 11. How to Entertain a Dragon. Bakugou Katsuki believes it was nothing short of a miracle that the first night of Deku on his house passed by unnoticed by his parents. Katsuki did his best to act normal during dinner, and he lucked out because the old hag wanted to talk to his dad about some boring Viking political stuff. So he managed to sneak out a bowl of soup and a piece of bread for Deku in his bedroom. The dragon gushed so much about how delicious the food was. He had never tried anything like it since Bakugo can't bring stews on his bag for their meetings. After he had eaten, Deku annoyed the living shit out of Katsuki to be given the books. Bakugo argued that it was already late. It was too dark to read and they needed to sleep. But the big lizard was adamant and only settled down in bed when Katsuki left all his books and caught in Izuku's reach. Before going to sleep, Katsuki put on a healing balm on Izuku's back. Even if the boy said he would heal anyways, Bakugo laid down a few pellets and pillows for himself on the wood floor next to the bed while Izuku took his bed. The dragon protested when he realized that's where Katsuki usually slept. He always sleeps on the floor, so he wouldn't mind. But Katsuki wasn't having none of it. The stupid dragon was hurt and should sleep on the bed. The first rays of sun peeked through the window, woke Katsuki up from his slumber, and he feels like it's raining on his face. What the fuck? How is it raining if the sun is shining? He cleans the water off his face, but the water is sticky. Since when is water sticky? Katsuki opens his eyes to see a huge dragon head hanged out of the bed and dripping drool on top of him. Fucking disgusting, stupid lizard! You drooled on me! Bakugo barks, pushing Izuku's head away, but that doesn't do anything to wake up the sleeping dragon. Katsuki gets up from the floor, ready to scream more, but then he sees Izuku's wings. They look just as bad as yesterday. The proud, powerful wings that a couple days ago were taking him flying over the waves now stand useless on the dragon's back, broken and crooked. No matter what Izuku says, the injury looks worse than even the one Katsuki inflicted on him when they met. And just like that time, it was all Katsuki's fault. Whatever, no point in moping over this. He would do what he have done before. If it was his fault that Izuku is hurt, it is his responsibility to take care of the dragon until he gets better. And it's not going to be that hard. All I need to do is keep Izuku fed and safe for some days. Talking about fed, Bakugo should go to the kitchen to grab food now that it's too early and his parents will be sleeping. And maybe wash his face. Some minutes later, Katsuki goes back to his room, washed and carrying a basket of bread, cheese, fruits, and a pinch of water. He finds Izuku in human form, sitting in the bed, flipping through the pages of the book. Morning, nerd. Morning, Kachan. Izuku says with a big smile that contrasts the deep purple bruises that peel from his V-neck on his shirt and blemishes on his face. What is a nerd? Some idiot who gambles getting fucking killed because of one shitty book, Katsuki says, sitting on the bed with Deku and presenting him the food. It's not just one book, Kachan. There were several, Izuku argues while picking an apple. Still doesn't justify getting caught, asshole. You need to be smarter. I'm gonna have to leave you here for a while. If no one sees me around the village, they may come looking for me here, and then they will find you. You gotta stay quiet, and don't give anyone any reason to think my room isn't empty, alright? Can I keep the books? Izuku asked nonchalantly. Sure, why the fuck not? Knock yourself out with the shitty books for all I care. Alright, I can stay here then, Izuku says, smiling. I'm gonna go train with the training dummies on the back of the house. You can see me from that window, Bakugo says, pointing at a window on the other side of the room. But you shouldn't, because you need to stay in the bed. And if you show up on that window, someone else might see you. The amount of food should last you until dinner. I'll bring you more when the sun goes down and I have an excuse to go back into my room. Understood? Understood, Deku says, still looking at the book and savoring his apple. Katsuki has a nagging feeling the dragon isn't taking this seriously as he should, so he tries giving the same orders again before taking his training sword and going down to the back of the house. He doesn't usually practice here, since they only have 2 dummies and not much space. He prefers training in the common grounds with the other young Vikings. They're a bunch of brain-dead extras, but at least they move slightly more than the dummies. Besides, here his father can keep an eye on him, and his mother may drop between her meetings and shit to talk to the old man. But today, he doesn't have a choice, so he begins recreating some very complex sword moves just to be able to say that he is training on his own because none of the other boys his age could keep up with what he's trying to do. From time to time, he checks his bedroom window, equal parts hoping and dreading to see Deku's face peering through. His father called for him for lunch when the sun was high. His mother had received some goat mice's pies that were actually delicious. He saved a big piece for Deku, wrapping it in cloth. He said politely to his parents that since he was training so hard, he might get hungry later. I'm a growing warrior, old hag. I need to eat. You are a bottomless pit, brat, and I'm afraid you're gonna eat the walls soon enough. Katsuki grabs the wrapped pie and leaves the kitchen, thinking about checking out on Deku quickly before going back to training. However, when he turns the corner towards the hallway that leads to the stairs to his bedroom, he sees the shitty, stupid dragon entering his mother's study. Bakugo panics, since he could hear the sounds of his parents in the kitchen. Pushes Izuku inside the study and closes the door. What the fuck are you doing here? Katsuki whispers furiously. I wanted to get more books, Izuku says, as if he hadn't done anything wrong. You can't fucking leave the room, Deku. I explained that shit to you. But I finished the books he left me and I want more. The dragon whines. How the fuck did you read all those books already? Is that some kind of shitty dragon magic? Oh, I haven't read them. I just looked at them. It would be great if I knew how to read. I'm sure I'd learned even more, Izuku says with a smile. Katsuki fights the urge to facepalm. You can't fucking read. Why the fuck are you so obsessed with shitty books if you can't fucking read? Katsuki feels his sanity dripping away through his ears. Don't scream, Kachan. Your parents might hear you, Izuku whispers. And books sometimes have pictures in them, and I like to look at the words. They look very pretty. I love to know how to read. Izuku finishes with a very sad expression that halts any urge Katsuki was feeling to scream at him some more. The idiotic dragon was never taught how to read, and he thinks about the 5 books Katsuki has lying around. Are a lot. He probably has seen just a couple of books his whole entire life. But even though his kind obviously doesn't see the value in written knowledge, the city dragon is such a nerd that he wants to read anyways. I'm sure I have some documents about that right here. Matsuru, let me just go pick them up. The old hag's voice sounds in the hallway, and Katsuki panics again. They need to leave, and fast. He grabs Izuku's arms and runs to jump out the window. Luckily, the shitty dragon notices that something is wrong and follows his leads without saying a word. They climb down the window and hide beneath the window sill. Bakugo closes Izuku's mouth with his hand just in case the other boy has the idiotic idea of speaking while his mother is in the room. Found them. Knew they were here. Come take a look. Mitsuki's voice sounds from the inside of the house. It looks like their parents aren't going to leave the study so soon. And now they're out of the house without any safe way of coming back in. Completely out in the open. Fuck. Thinking that staying there would give them higher chances of getting caught, Katsuki tugs on Izuku's wrist, and they get moving. Where could they even go? Maybe go out of the village? But Izuku's still very hurt. He can't walk so far. Maybe to Kirishima's house. Shidahire's parents would probably still be out working, so that might be an option. Katsuki ducks in a back alley, while he thinks where they could go. He can't just keep walking aimlessly. That is the quickest way to getting caught. Will Kirishima even be at his house? They agreed that the redhead would go training with the other useless extras today, so none of them came looking for Bakugo. Well, even though Kirishima may not be there, it is still the safest place to be, since the only person who could find them is Shitty Hair himself. Alright, Deku. I know where we're going, so just stay quiet and... Katsuki halts what he is saying, because he notices that fucking Deku isn't by his side. Deku? Deku! Bakugo looks around frantically. Where the fuck is that stupid dragon? Did Katsuki leave him behind? Was he caught by someone else? Deku? Deku! Oh my god. They must have found him. They found him and now they're gonna kill him. Deku! Deku! Stupid, shitty dragon. How could he allow himself to get in danger? He couldn't get hurt. He's Katsuki's dragon. Katsuki runs violently out of the alleyway looking for Deku. Maybe he could fight off whoever caught him, and they could make a run for it? Then he sees it. The stupid boy grinning widely and laughing with the shitty baker's son, while holding 2 pieces of honey bread. Deku seems to be talking merrily with Sato, so the whole fucking speech of don't get caught isn't worth a flying fuck for the shitty dragon. How could he do this? Shitty Deku, what the fuck are you doing? Bakugo screams while approaching them. Hi, Ka-chan! Look what Sato gave us! The idiot says, smiling brightly, and presenting the 2 small bread loaves. Good afternoon, Bakugo. Izuku here has never seen sweet bread before. Did you know that? Apparently in his village, it is not a common recipe. The useless baker says with an idiotic smile on his face. Yeah, this fucker comes from the end of the fucking world. Nothing good there. Yet. Katsuki says, fuming. Oh, and why are you in our village, Izuku? Study? Tourism? The shitty extra ignores Katsuki and talks directly to his dragon. Who gave him the right? Oh, I'm here for... study. Stupid. Deku here is part of an exchange student program. Now let's fucking go. You're gonna be late for class. Katsuki barks and pulls Izuku away by the wrist. Izuku already has one of the honey breads in his mouth. Ka-chan, this is delicious. You need to try it. I don't need to try shit, you fucking... Izuku shoves the other bun in Katsuki's mouth before the Viking can finish his statement. Delicious, right? Izuku says, smiling. And Katsuki intends to eat the bun before telling the dragon to go fuck himself because he was not raised in a barn and will not speak with his mouth full. However, before Katsuki can get around to it, Izuku runs off again towards the busy market. And now they're officially screwed. Izuku's eyes are shining brightly. He clearly has never seen so many things and people in the same place. He browses through the market, picking up things to look and walk away with them, completely dumbfounded. And not paying for anything. The dragon looks fascinated by the petals, pots, and everyday utensils, like they were treasures. Look, Ka-chan! So pretty! What is this for? Izuku says, putting a soup bowl on his head like a hat. It's for eating. Just put it back. No, not here. You took this from that other stand. I'm sorry, missus. This fucker is bad in the fucking head. Fucking Deku, drop that now. But I like this. It's so pretty and soft, Izuku says, hugging a lady's frizzled undergarments. They are small, light pink shorts with ruffles on the edges, made of soft cotton. Why the fuck the shitty vendors are letting these kind of things out in the open? Are you gonna pay for this, boy? The vendor asked grumpily, clearly not amused by the teenage boy hugging his goods. Before Katsuki could make Izuku drop the item back, the dragon keeps walking towards the next stall, still hugging and nuzzling the cotton piece. Bakugo grunts and takes a couple coins from his pockets. He prays that is enough and leaves them on the vendor's counter before going to his runaway dragon. I'm gonna fucking kill you, asshole! Katsuki screams while slapping Izuku's hand away from some flowers the florist Albrada was offering him. Ka-chan! Izuku exclaims, looking hurt. You can't just fucking grab things. The fuck is wrong with you? Katsuki will not be swayed by the dragon's kicked Puckby expression. The fucker has to learn some fucking manners. Bakugou, please control your temper. Izuku is just accepting a humble gift. Abrasa says, glaring at him. Then she turns with a sweet smile to Izuku and gives him the flower. Here you go, dear. Now tell me, you have family in town? Where are you staying? He's Kirishima's cousin. Second removed. I'm taking him to Shitty Hair's house right now, so we gotta go. Katsuki snarls at Deku, who finally has the decency to look embarrassed. Thank you so much, Shirakura. I have to go with Katchan now, Izuku says with a huge smile to the woman. You're very welcome, Izuku. Please come back to talk soon. Obaba answers, smiling just as happily. The fuck? He was less than a minute behind Shitty Deku. How the fuck did they become friends so fast? This shit doesn't even make sense. Katsuki lived in the shitty village his whole life and has never received free honey bread or flowers. Look, Katchan, we're in luck. There's Kirishima, Izuku says happily, waving somewhere behind Katsuki's line of sight. Shit, this can't be good. And when he sees who's coming, Katsuki can't help the grunt that comes out of him. His worst nightmare is taking shape right in front of his eyes. It's too late to run away, because right now, Kirishima, Kaminari, and Sero are walking towards them, and Katsuki is not ready to deal with that kind of bullshit. Izuku, what? How? Kirishima smiles, anxiously, without knowing what to say. Hey man, you must be Bakugou's cousin. My father told me he met you last night. I'm Kaminari Denki. Nice to meet you. Dunceface introduces himself, smiling like the idiot he is. Nice to meet you too, Kaminari Denki. I'm Izuku. The shitty dragon answers, with a smile to rival the sun. No wonder the whole village is enamored with Deku. The idiot smells like the sun is coming out of their asses. Doesn't he have any sense of what an appropriate greeting to strangers? Kami Denki, man. Any relative of Baku is our friend. Hey, Izuku, Hanzo, what brings you to our humble village? I didn't even know Bakugous had family in other villages. Study, Bakugo says at the same time that Kirishima bursts out. Family business! Shit. He's studying the family business. Shitty Hair completes. You know, politics, leatherwork, important stuff. Politics and leatherwork? Soy Saw Face asks, raising an eyebrow. Yeah, the shitty nerd wouldn't cross the whole fucking continent just to learn one thing, idiot. Bakugo grunts. If this is their cover, might as well try to sell it. And how long are you staying for? Dunceface asks Deku. For as long as he needs to, shitty nosy fuckers. What the fuck is this? A questioning? Leave us alone! Katsuki screams, and grabs Izuku's wrist to run away. Kaminari holds onto Izuku's other wrist. Come on, Baku. Nothing interesting ever happened here. We just want to talk to the new guy too. No, we need to go, Katsuki says, pushing Izuku harder, but Dunceface stands his ground. Just a little bit. Kachan! Izuku cries. It's hurting. Bakugo lets go the moment he realizes Izuku's in pain. The dragon hungs the flowers and frittily underpants around his chest and looks a little wary of the other boys. Dunceface and Soy Sauce have big dumb smiles, completely oblivious. Shit. There is no way out of this, right? Whatever, let's take him to the training grounds and we could hang out for a while. Bakugo concedes. He really can't catch a fucking break. Very, very interesting chapter today. You know, I've already seen this chapter, as I mentioned before. I've read this whole thing. It's a very interesting chapter. I absolutely love the fact that Izuku's like, oh my god, books! I love books! And then he's like, oh yeah, I finished all the books that, you gave me. He's like, and obviously Bakugo's like, what the fuck do you mean you finished all the books I already gave you? Like, is that some magic shit? Because I guess that was 5 books. And average size books takes about 8 hours to read, 7 hours to read. You know, at the very least of those fast readers, 5 hours to read, right? 5 times 5, that's 24 hours. In one, morning, because he comes back at lunch, and that's when all that happens. So yeah, in one morning, the most Bakugo had to be gone was like an hour, like 5 hours, right? At the very most. Like, how can you finish, normally when you finish one book, it's, 5 hours. How can you finish 5 books in 5 hours? Like, that's finishing one whole book in an hour. That ain't possible, right? And that's hilarious to me because Izuku's just like, oh, I don't know how to read. He is so, he's such a nerd, is what he is. Bakugo's right, he's a nerd. I love this series so much. This is the little crack series. I love this series so much. So we have Izuku meeting up with the others. Also, they're telling different lies. They're saying that it's Kirishima's cousin, then they're saying it's Bakugo's cousin, that he's here for study, he's here to visit. All those lies are gonna catch up. Probably. Maybe. Who knows? I mean, normally when you have lying like that, they always usually catch up. The Wi-Fi left us. I was able to connect to my hotspot, but I don't know how fast that shit's gonna upload. So I know cheat code support strategist by Clouds, my Head in the Clouds not coming down, was a bit late. But hopefully this one isn't late as well. One can only hope. And as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my socials and Discord server is down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.